Hello everyone. I'm going to try and do a quick tutorial on how I did my mini album insert for Swap over at Life on the Scrap Beach. No, I did not think of this myself. I followed Kathy Orta's what is it called? Occasions album. She made a bigger version of it. You can check it out on her channel at Paper Phenomenon. So, but I just tweaked it a little, changed it a little, and made a smaller version, because that's what I needed for Swap. And so I'm going to just walk you through how I made mine, and with the measurements and everything. So mine, the one that I'm working on right now, is 4.25 by 4.5 by 4.5. The one I made for the Swap, I think, was 5.5 by 5.5. But because I have I'm working with 8.5 by 11 paper, I made it smaller so that I have little waste. Before I worked with 12 by 12 paper. So for the Swap. So here we go. So this is what it looks like. Kinda, it's half done. It opens like this, and there's a pocket here. I haven't done anything to it. Unlike this is supposed to be cut here. I haven't cut it yet. And then there's an opening here, like this, and there's another pocket here, and this. So far, there's supposed to be another pocket here on this side, and another of this ones here on this side. So this here, the actual base of it is I don't know if you guys can see this, 10 inches long by 4.5 inches wide, and then you score at 2.5, and then you score again. That's half an inch, but let's see. So you score at 2.25, and then at 2.75, which makes a half inch, and then again at 7.25 right here, which makes this 4.5, and then again at 7.75, creating the half an inch, and then you should have left over 2.25. So you score it all, and this basically here become the spines of your book, and this little ones, the flap, and this kind of the base. As you can see, I haven't cut mine down to 2.25 for this side yet, because the one that I made for my partner, once I was done and it got bulky, it wasn't closing properly, and I had to add, if you check my channel, I added lace to kind of close the gap. So there's the measurements again. Alright, and that gives you the base. So then this one's here, this little flaps here, I made this one's, I made them at 4.25 this way by 4.375 this way. You can make yours 4.375 and by 4.375, but I just wanted to have the extra little room here. I just don't want the spine, this touching. When it gets bulky, it's not good for it to touch and move around, so I gave it that room. So I made mine 4.25 by 4.375. I cut it at 4.25 by 5 inches to be able to have this little gap here for it to glue down, and I just glued it down, one at the top of the base and the other one at the bottom of the base. just kind of centered it, and that's basically it. And the nice thing is that this here doesn't touch. If you want, and the one I made for the slop, I kind of cut a sliver down, so this one down here was a bit smaller than this one, just to make sure, just to have that. Okay, so now there's this part. There's the pocket. This is a pocket here. I haven't made a hole yet, and it has this little flap. So we're gonna do that, and these are the dimensions for the pocket. This here is 4.5 inches long. So I just cut it. I think I used maybe 3 or 4 pieces to actually put this together, of 8.5 by 11. So this is this would be your paper, and you're cutting then this way, coming this way, so you go, so that you keep this length. You want this length. Okay. So this is 8.5, and then I just folded it in half, which gave me 4.25 each side. And then you are going to score 1/4 on each side. I think the whole length, the whole width of this is 4 3/4. So you're just going to score 1/4 from the edge, and cut this part down, also 1/4, and then you can miter your corners there, and then this is how you get this shape with the little flaps there. Okay, and then you can add adhesive. You can see that I've already added my adhesive. You add your adhesive there, and let's see if I can get this out. There we go. And there we go. And then you just push that in. That in, and push that down, and there we go. Now I'm just gonna check if anything has come out a bit here. Okay. Push that to the side and sorry from a frame. There we go. This here. That's fine. So that's my pocket, and this now measures 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I've come down a little from the 4.5. Again, you can make this 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. So you're just going down 1/8 from the 4.5. And then you're going to add your flap here, and you can double, triple this as much as you want. And I cut my flap at 4 inches by 5 inches. So this is 5 inches long, and this is 4 inches wide. And I scored at 4 1/8 inch. So I came down 1/8 from the pocket, just because I want to have that. I don't want it to be too tight. And this is my flap, and this here is going to go inside here, and then down like that, and you can see here that I have that gap and that gap, which is what I want. I'm just going to secure this here, and I'm just using the little sticks that you get with the Michaels rub-ons. There we go. I'm gonna grab this here, and here, and I don't want to go all the way to the, I just want to come glue it. I don't want this to go all the way to the fold, just before the fold. I want to center this as well, and that's good. Yep, there we go. And there we go. And I don't know if you can see, but my fold is over here. Like, you can see here that there is that space. So then I can fold this down, and this part is not touching this edge here. So it has that bit of room. You can see that there. And I want that. And there's my pocket. So then, when you're going to be cutting this down, you're going to get some pieces. You might. I got a few pieces, and I'm just using these pieces for my hinge. And let me just secure this. And I don't know what size this is because I just used my scraps. This is about I can't see, oh my goodness. 1¼ about. You just want to make sure that this part is just under 2½ because that's going to go on your spine. This one here on this side, and this is a half. Sorry, I probably said 1½. This is a half. So you want to make sure that this little part here is just under a half. And I marked on this where I'm going to put my hinge. I marked it in pencil, so I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just gonna open this up, and this is going to go right here, and that's going to go there, and like this. Do I want it like this? No, I want it like this. Actually, yeah. So this is going to go like this. Now, the reason why I have my hinge to this side is because there's so much bulk here, and after you put embellishments on, this will rise up a bit. So I want this pocket, when it opens, I want it closer to this flap, as opposed to this pocket, when it opens, it's closer to the bottom, to the base of my book. So it goes, so gravity kind of thing, I guess, makes it go down. And because, so if this one, if my hinge here is closer, it's like this, when it opens, you see this is close, it's going to be closer to this flap, so it's going to be on top. I mean, oh, this goes right there. So that's just the way I do this, just to make sure, there we go, that I have, because it does get a bit bulky. Mine got a bit bulky, not a lot, but it did get a bit bulky, and I didn't use a lot of 3-dimensional flowers or anything like that. So this is gonna go like so, right? That's what I said. So this has to go like that. Okay, so this has to go here, and you want to center this. Sorry, I was probably off frame there. I'm sorry if I'm off frame. I'm trying a new angle. Sorry. Look at this. And there we go. I believe that's it. Oh, yeah, that's it. Okay. And I didn't show you, but I mitered the corners of my hinge, just for a cleaner look. And there we go. Put that down once. Un ratito. Okay. There, and now this part here. And this is again less than ½ inch. I'm already at 14 minutes. Because I want this to be able to fold properly without interruptions or anything like that. So I want to make sure that this is just not right at the fold, just under it. And I want to try and guide myself with this one here to after this, and I hope I'm on camera. And this is taking me a while. And this is just going to go below my fold line. I think that's probably it. There. There. So with that done, this can fold nicely, and it's not too crowded. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that there. So there we go. So when you open it, there's this, and your pocket, and then you have another flap, and your pocket, and then you have this flap and this flap. So now, I also did this little pocket here. On my other one, it was a bit bigger. I just wanted to make this one a bit smaller because I thought it was cute. So the dimensions for this little pocket, and I just did whatever dimensions I wanted to. So the whole length is 5 inches. This is a bit messy, but it's right at 5 inches, the length. And I just folded it in half. So this is 2.5 inches. So it's 2.5 inches. And this is not true size. I just grabbed a piece of paper, but and whatnot. And the width here is supposed to be 3 1/8 inches, and then you're going to score 1/2 inch from the end, and again you're going to cut for half of it, for half of the length. You're going to cut that 1/2 inch, and you're going to miter the corners there, and this is what you should end up having. This part, and then the little wings, which are the 1/2 inch, and then there's your pocket. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and push this down. And sorry about that, my mother was calling me. It's time for dinner. In Spanish. Yeah. It's coming up. And I think I mentioned it, but you can use whatever adhesive you want. There we go. Sorry. And there we go. And you can do, I believe Kathy didn't have this big ones. I believe she had little ones coming out like to the side like this. And I think she had like 3 or 4. But, for this, it worked because hers was so much bigger. But because this is a mini, I tried to be able to, I wanted it to look nice but not too chunky, but I like the idea. So there's a bit coming out there, and I just want to cut that out. I like the idea, so I will put the link to her channel, or to the occasions folio up for you guys to check it out. So there's that. And then I had another little piece, and with this one, because this hinge is not going to go on your spine, you can have it at any size you want. I'm not sure what size this one is. I just used whatever cardstock I had, so it's just over 1 inch. And again, miter the corners. And this, I believe, is not it's not a full 2.5. It's a bit smaller. Just because, I don't know. So you can see here, this goes stuck to the very beginning. So we're gonna do, so you would do the same to this end, but I haven't cut mine out. And you would basically stick, I'll show you. I want that part inside. There. and then you would, once you would have this cut down, you would put this at your end as well, and try to align it with this one. So I mean, I just eyeballed it, but it would be somewhere there because they're lined up, and that's basically what it is. And then you just decorate it as you want. If you want it to be more sturdy, you can do this with the base with chipboard, I guess, but it's up to you. And that's basically it. These are the measurements again for the base. Now for the pocket. It's upside down, sorry. It's 4 3/4, and then you score a quarter from the ends, and that's for the pocket. If you were to do it this size, I basically made it this size. I think I said it because I don't want to have as much waste with my 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And then your insert would be 4 by 5, and you score at 4 and 1/8. And this one's here would be did I give that one? This one's would be 4, and you would cut them at 4 1/4 by 5, and score at 4 3/4, basically. And that's it. That's it for this. And then you have a pretty little insert, mini, or a brag book. Mine's zipping because I haven't done this side. But thank you for watching, and I'll put all the channels in the link below.